Question B10. Triangle A has sides 3 centimeters, 2 centimeters, and 5 centimeters. Triangle B has sides 6 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and 10. Are the two triangles congruent, similar, or concentric? Now, what we need to understand here is what these three big words mean. Concentric triangles, or sometimes you hear of concentric circles, are shapes which have the same central point. So these triangles here are going to have the same central point. Okay, if you had some circles like this, get increasingly bigger, but all the circles have got the same central point, they are concentric. So we don't really have enough information about these triangles to know if they're concentric or not. They perhaps could be, but we don't know for definite. So let's explore what the other two meanings mean. The other two words mean. So congruent means exactly the same size. Okay. Now they can't be exact. They're not going to be congruent. Definitely not, because the sides are bigger on the second triangle. 6, 4, and 10 are bigger than 3, 2, and 5. So they're not going to be congruent. Definitely not. We don't know if they are concentric, because without seeing them being drawn, we don't know if they've been drawn with the same central point. So that leaves us with this word similar. Now, similar triangles are basically where you've got a smaller triangle and a larger triangle, and all the sides are being enlarged with the same scale factor. So, for example, if you take this grey triangle and a yellow triangle, all the angles are the same. So, in a similar triangles have to have all angles the same, but the sides do not have to be the same, because one has to be an enlargement of the other. So, if we check the sides, this 4 here, if you doubled it, it would be 8. This 3 here, if you doubled it, it would be 6. So it seems like we've got a scale factor of 2. Now, if you've got some sides which are in the same scale factor and all the angles are the same, that actually means that the third side that we don't know about, that must be in the same scale factor as well. So this side X must have been doubled to get this 4. So that X in this case must have been 2. So to cut a long story short, if all the sides are in the same scale factor as the enlarged shape, then it is called a similar shape. It's just an enlargement. A similar triangle is an enlargement of another triangle. So all we have to do is check the pairs of sides on the question we're given and see if they all have the same scale factor. So these two triangles, by the way, are not the same as this question here. This is just an extra example. So the 3, 2, and 5, well, if you doubled the 3, you would get 6. If you doubled the 2, you would get 4. And if you doubled the 5, you would get 2. So you've doubled all of the sides in the first triangle to get the sides in the second triangle, and therefore those two triangles would be classed as being similar, because all sides enlarged by the same scale factor. And that's what a similar shape is. So the answer to this question is similar. Just as an extra example on the end here, these two triangles would actually be congruent. And the reason for that, now they don't look the same, but they're not necessarily drawn to scale. So the reason, and sometimes they do this with congruent triangle questions, they deliberately don't draw them to scale to get you to see if you think they're the same size. So if you look at the angles, 19 and 40 in the first triangle is 159, which would make this angle up here 21. And in this triangle, 21 and 19 is 40, which would make this missing angle down here have to be 140. Now that's evidence straight away that it's not drawn to scale, because 140 is obtuse, and this looks like an acute angle here. So this triangle here mustn't be drawn to scale. However, if you have got all three angles the same and just one side the same, so 3 angles one side, and this 10 here matches this 10 here, the side touching the 21 and the 19, and it's the same on here, the side touching the 21 and the 19 is 10. If you've got 3 angles the same and one side the same, these two triangles are congruent. So the two triangles that I'm highlighting in yellow, they've got all the same angles and they would have all the same sides. Therefore, those two triangles are congruent.